Before we kick things off, don't forget to smash that like button if you enjoy the content.
Whis' staff was in Zitoku's hands, but at that moment, it felt less like a weapon and more like a witness to a moment that tore Zitoku's entire life into two pieces, the Zitoku from before and the Zitoku of now. His eyes were locked onto the destruction spread out before him. Every single trace of the massacre unleashed by the gods lay scattered across the ground. Shattered homes, burning fields, and a silence that felt heavier than any screams. Everywhere Zitoku looked, there was only the landscape of death. And then, his gaze stopped on the faces he recognized. His family, his own people, lying on the ground, lifeless, silenced forever. Tears just wouldn't stop streaming from Zitoku's eyes. He even forgot to wipe them away, as if in the face of this kind of pain, tears had become something entirely too small. Every drop told a story of agony that words could never express. His knees were shaking, but he didn't fall. He couldn't fall, because now he didn't even have a reason left to fall. Everything had already been ripped away from him. He slowly dropped to his knees beside his family. He reached his hand out, but couldn't find the courage to touch them. Choking back his tears, he spoke in broken words. "I'm sorry, I couldn't save any of you. I was right here, so close, and yet I couldn't do a single thing. You all trusted me, and I failed you." His voice was trembling. With every word, his chest felt like it was ripping apart. "I thought I would protect you all. I promised that no one would ever touch you. Today, that promise shattered right in front of me, and I just stood there watching." For a few moments, only his sobs echoed through the space. But then, something began to shift. His tears were still flowing, but what lay behind them had changed. It wasn't just grief anymore. Something else was waking up inside him. Something deep, something dangerous. Zitoku clenched his fist. There was so much power in that grip that even Whis' staff trembled slightly. But now, the sobbing vanished from his voice. Now, there was only a cold, flat, stone-like tone. Now, no matter what happens, I am absolutely not letting these gods slide. He slowly stood up. His eyes were still wet, but there were no tears in them now, only a burning fire. "You guys call yourselves gods, right? The masters of life and death? Today I saw your justice. Today I saw your mercy. You destroyed my world, wiped out my people, all just for your own arrogance. And you think there won't be a reckoning for this?" With every word he spoke, the air grew heavier. "I'm not coming to beg before you. I won't plead for mercy. What you have done, I will take revenge for it in the exact same way, one by one. And I won't stop until the very last trace of your pride is completely wiped out." And right then, suddenly, the rage inside Zitoku completely exploded. The air all around him seemed to freeze. The ground began to shake slightly. His grief turned into a blast, a fire that wasn't going to be put out by anyone now. His eyes flashed, and in that flash was a promise of death. He turned toward Whis' staff gripped in his hand. His voice was roaring now. "You, take me to all those killers, to every single god who spilled blood here today. Not one should escape. Take me to them right now, this very instant." And then, something that should have been impossible happened. Whis' staff, which only moved at Whis' command, which was nothing more than a useless piece of wood in anyone else's hands, obeyed Zitoku. It glowed. Its light began to sync up with Zitoku's rage, as if it understood every single beat of Zitoku's heart, as if that staff didn't belong to anyone else anymore, but to Zitoku alone. In that moment, Zitoku didn't even realize it himself, but the staff had accepted him as his new master, a master in whose heart, instead of grief, only one purpose remained: justice. And the price of that justice was now for the gods to pay. Zitoku, The secret of the unknown universe and the staff. Whis' staff was carrying Zitoku along with it, to a place Zitoku had never even imagined. Lines of light were blurring past him at insane speeds, like the entire sky was melting away. Colors were shifting, spaces were altering, and time itself felt completely meaningless. Zitoku's eyes were closed, his heart still heavy with the pain he had left behind. And then, suddenly, everything stopped. Zitoku felt solid ground beneath his feet. There was a sudden, slight jolt, and he was standing in a whole new location. He slowly opened his eyes, and what he saw right in front of him made his breath catch for a second. This place? It belonged to a completely different world. The sky looked strange, neither day nor night, but something right in between. There was an unfamiliar scent in the air. The ground, the mountains, the trees, everything looked familiar, yet nothing felt like home. This was a place in another universe, and that reality shook Zitoku to his very core. Startled, he began looking around. His eyes scanned everywhere, up, down, left, right, like he was searching for any recognizable sign, just one thing that could tell him where he was. Where exactly has this staff dropped me off? He muttered, his voice filled with both shock and confusion. He slowly moved forward, checking out everything around him very carefully. This place looks pretty weird to me. It feels like I've seen it before, yet it's totally unfamiliar. And is this really the place I wanted to come to? Or did this staff just dump me somewhere else entirely? He didn't stop. His eyes kept scanning his surroundings, trying to read every rock, every shadow, and every single corner. But the more he looked, the more confused he got. Not a single part of this place was giving him any answers. After trying for a long time and still getting nowhere, Zitoku took a deep breath and started to think. All right, if I can't figure this out the straightforward way, there's another option. He closed his eyes, focusing his mind. Every universe has a god of destruction. If I can just lock on to the energy signature of this universe's god of destruction, that's it. After that, I can just use instant transmission to go straight to him. Then I won't even need to search for a path. Thinking about this gave him a little hope. He put all his effort into it, trying to sense even the faintest energy around him. His mind reached out far, incredibly far. He was searching for that heavy, terrifying power that only a god of destruction could possess. But nothing. A moment passed, 2 moments passed. Zitoku pushed even harder. Still, completely blank. He couldn't sense any god's energy, not a faint trace, not a distant hint. It was as if there was no god in this entire universe. Or maybe. And right then, suddenly, it hit him. His eyes snapped open. A cold reality washed over him. I can't even sense a god's energy to begin with, he said quietly to himself, like remembering a forgotten lesson. This isn't a weakness. It's always been this way. Whether it's a god of destruction or any other deity, their ki, their energy is completely out of my grasp. No matter how hard I try, I just can't sense them. For a few moments, he stood there in total silence. But this time, that silence didn't mean defeat. That silence was filled with calculation. And then, slowly, a new look appeared on his face. He finally figured out what he had to do. If I can't find the god myself, then I'll have to rely on this staff. But his gaze fell upon Whis' staff held tightly in his hand. The problem is, the staff isn't understanding me properly. I only told it to take me to the killers, and it just dumped me anywhere. That means I need to give it even clearer, more direct instructions, so it knows exactly what I want, with 0 mistakes. Zitoku gripped the staff firmly. There was no more confusion in his eyes, only a newfound determination. He took a deep breath, put all the power he had into his voice, and shouted straight at the staff. Listen, now listen to me very carefully.
I don't want just any random place. Take me to the planet of this universe's god of destruction, right to the place where he lives, where his entire power resides. Drop me right at the doorstep of his house. No more mistakes, no more excuses. Straight to where the boss is sitting." His voice echoed through that unknown universe, and this time, the staff did exactly what Zitoku told it to do. The staff flashed, a bright light began wrapping all around Zitoku, and in the very next instant, he vanished. Only a faint glow remained in the air, which slowly faded away. And then, we see Zitoku on a completely new planet. This planet was different from all the other places. Its color, its structure, its entire atmosphere, everything was filled with a distinct vibe of an incredible power. It was round, with a strange shape, looking like a piece of a completely different world, and anyone who knew this place would recognize it in a heartbeat. This planet looked exactly like Beerus's planet, and that could only mean one thing. This was the planet of a god of destruction. Zitoku, Universe 8 and the Return of the God Killer. Right then, we see Korn, the angel of Universe 8, calm, composed, and carrying that usual faint smirk on his face. But if Korn was here, it meant only one thing. Zitoku had officially entered Universe 8.
Korn stood there, gripping his staff, when suddenly his eyes narrowed just a fraction. For a split second, the tranquility on his face fractured. He felt something, an energy, a power that had never existed in this universe before, and that energy was incredibly dangerous. Korn turned slowly toward his master, Liquir, the god of destruction of Universe 8, who was lounging comfortably on his throne. Korn spoke with utmost respect, keeping his voice smooth and polite. "My lord, I do not mean to trouble you, but there is something urgent you need to know. Someone has entered our universe, and his energy is immensely powerful. So powerful, in fact, that I fear your very life could be in danger." Even after hearing this, not a single line of worry appeared on Liquir's face. Just like all the other gods of destruction, he didn't give a damn. To him, it sounded like a total joke. I mean, who could possibly exist that could pose a threat to a god of destruction? He just closed his eyes, remaining seated in total indifference. But then, something shifted. A faint question flashed through Liquir's mind. He fell into deep thought. For the first time, a hint of confusion crept onto his face. Could my life really be in danger? He muttered softly, almost thinking out loud. No, I can't believe it. Who could possibly threaten me, a god of destruction? He snapped his eyes open and looked straight at Korn. His voice had completely lost its casual tone. It was serious now. "Korn, tell me, who exactly is this person who can threaten my life? Do you know him?" And right at that exact moment, just as that question left Liquir's lips, we see Zitoku, right there, standing right in front of them. He materialized out of thin air like a flash of light, holding Whiss's staff in his hand. His face carried that same cold expression that had now become his trademark. Zitoku looked dead at Liquir, a sharp, subtle smirk spreading across his face as he spoke. The sheer confidence in his voice was chilling. "Hey, you crazy fox, he's talking about me, meaning the God Killer. Yeah, that's right, the God Killer. And exactly why I'm called the God Killer, well, I'm gonna have to explain that to both of you, breaking it down piece by piece in absolute detail, just so you never get the chance to forget it." Seeing Zitoku suddenly standing right in front of them, both Liquir and Korn froze dead in their tracks. Their eyes widened in pure shock. What the hell was happening? How did this man step onto a god of destruction's planet so effortlessly, standing right before them? Liquir stood up, his gaze locked tightly onto Zitoku, but he couldn't recognize the face at all. Completely baffled, he demanded, Who exactly are you?
Who has the absolute audacity to stand before me on my planet like this? But on the other side, Korn's focus wasn't even on Zitoku's face. He was staring intensely at Zitoku's hand, at the staff he was holding. For a moment, all the calmness completely drained from Korn's face. He spoke softly, as if he couldn't even believe his own eyes. That is Whis' staff. There was so much shock packed into those words that the entire atmosphere turned heavy. Whis' staff, the staff of Universe 7's angel, how the hell was it in the hands of this stranger? Zitoku was thoroughly enjoying their panic and confusion. He slowly hovered down from the air, setting his feet firmly on the ground, and then a deep, sinister, evil smile spread across his lips.
"Just look at the expressions on your faces," he said, glancing at both of them with twisted amusement in his voice. "Do you get it now, who I actually am? Did you seriously forget me that fast?" He paused for a beat, then continued in a deeply mocking tone. "Then again, it has been a whole 10 years since then, so maybe your eyesight is getting a bit weak. It gets tough to remember old things after so many years, doesn't it?" A heavy, suffocating silence followed his words. 10 years. That phrase just echoed through the air. And then, slowly, a spark of recognition flashed in Liquir's eyes. The truth hidden behind that face suddenly clicked in his brain. His expression shattered completely. The indifference was gone, replaced by pure, unadulterated shock. Liquir stumbled backward. His voice began to tremble, as if he couldn't grasp his own words. How are you still alive? You should be dead. No, not just dead. You should have been completely erased by now. Not a single atom of your existence should have survived." For the very first time, his eyes held something that should never exist in the eyes of a god of destruction. Pure terror. Then we see it. Zitoku's gaze was locked dead on Liquir, that same sharp smirk spreading across his lips. "Ooh-hoo, Fox," he said with a low chuckle. "Looks like you finally figured out exactly who I am. Well, better late than never. At least your memory is working." Saying this, Zitoku slowly drove Whis' staff into the ground. The staff stood perfectly upright, as if its job was officially done. Now Zitoku's hands were completely free, a clear sign that he was about to unleash his true power. Anger began to flare up in his eyes. He cast a heavy, burning glare at both Liquir and Korn. And then, he started powering up his energy. The very air around him began to warp and tremble. "Hey, Fox." His voice turned dead serious now. "You're absolutely right that I should be dead by now. In a way, yeah, I really am a dead man." He paused for a brief second, his voice dropping even colder. "And what's standing right in front of you is nothing but a shadow. The shadow of a man you gods wiped out a long time ago. But this shadow isn't going anywhere. Not until it makes every single one of you gods pay for what you did, for everything you did to planet Earth. Until then, I'll be right here, right behind you, at every single turn." His fists clenched tightly. The pain deep inside him had completely transformed into pure, unadulterated rage. "And I will never forgive you gods. Never. Because what you all did to my family, to my friends, the debt hasn't been settled yet. Every single one of you will pay the price, one by one, and I won't stop until your very last breath feels this exact pain." And right then, suddenly, Zitoku cranked his power up to an entirely different level. A blinding light erupted from his body. The ground began to violently shake. The entire planet of the god of destruction, a place that was literally a fortress of cosmic power, started trembling under the sheer weight of Zitoku's energy. Mountains shook, the sky roared,
and the atmosphere became so heavy that it was hard to even breathe. Seeing this, even Lakir was completely caught off guard. His eyes widened in shock. What kind of power was this? A god of destruction's planet, which could withstand massive cosmic cataclysms, was shaking like this just from a mortal's energy? A terrifying power was bleeding out of Zitoku, a power this universe had never witnessed before. Lakir carefully sensed that energy, and his face went completely pale. How is this even possible? His voice trembled. Inside him, the energy of destruction and ultra instinct are coming out at the exact same time. Both powers in a single body? This is impossible. His mind was racing, and a sudden thought shook him to his core. Does this mean Beerus was actually facing this kind of power? The god of destruction of Universe 7? He was fighting against this? Lakir tried to process his own words, but he couldn't bring himself to believe it. No, that's completely impossible. It can't be. Both energies inside a single mortal? It's just not possible. But the reality was standing right in front of him, and that reality was done waiting. Then, out of nowhere, we see Zitoku completely vanish. 1 millisecond, he was right in front of Lakir, and the next, he teleported straight behind him. Lakir didn't register that kind of speed at all. Seeing Zitoku materialize behind him like that sent a massive shockwave of panic through him. His eyes popped open, and only one thought crossed his mind. What is this? But before Lakir could say or do a single thing, Zitoku delivered a massive, full-power punch straight to his face. There was so much raw power packed into that single punch that Lakir didn't even have a chance to react. He couldn't do anything, couldn't dodge, couldn't brace himself. The force of the impact launched him through the air like a rag doll. We see Lakir flying incredibly far, incredibly fast, tearing right through the air, and then, boom! A massive explosion erupted right where he crashed. Light, dust, and smoke blasted out in every direction. The ground split wide open, and an entire sector of the God of Destruction's planet completely buckled. And over on the other side, we see Korn. He was watching his lord take a beating like this. On the face of the angel, who always remained perfectly calm, there was now nothing but absolute shock. His eyes were glued to the scene, completely unable to believe what was actually happening. A god of destruction at the hands of a mortal getting absolutely wrecked. Cut to Korn, who was still reeling from the scene. His eyes were glued to the spot where Zitoku stood, and only one thought kept running through his mind. I've never seen a mortal like this before, Korn muttered quietly, almost to himself. So fast, so powerful. When did he get behind Lord Lakir, and when did he land that punch? The Lord didn't even perceive it. This mortal is truly remarkable. His gaze shifted to the distant crater where Lakir had crashed. Lord Lakir is renowned for his speed. Hardly anyone in Universe 8 is faster than him. But Zitoku's attack, the Lord couldn't even see it coming. Not at all. That is why he was sent flying so far. To be honest, even I didn't foresee this attack. This is something else entirely. And just then, amid the dust and smoke, something moved. We see Lakir. He was getting back up, but the carelessness on his face was gone. Now there was only rage, a deep burning fury. A dark energy began to erupt from his body, wrapping around him like smoke. This dark energy was making the entire atmosphere heavy. Lakir slowly stood up, wiping his jaw. His eyes locked onto Zitoku. It's possible. His voice was dripping with venom. It's possible that when you killed Beerus, you just landed a lucky punch, a fluke strike that he couldn't handle. But mortal, that lucky punch means nothing in front of me. Your luck won't work here. He took a step forward, his dark energy intensifying.
And mark my words, I will not let you kill any god, not a single one. As long as I am alive, your game of vengeance ends right here, on this very planet. His voice boomed. And yes, let me remind you exactly why we are called gods of destruction. It's not just a title, mortal. It is a reality. At our single command, entire worlds are erased. And you are nothing more than a bug in front of us, a tiny insect that won't take me a second to crush. Saying this, Lakir gathered his full power. Hakai energy flared up in his hand, that devastating power that can erase anything from existence, and he unleashed that energy directly at Zitoku. With a massive explosion, the strike hit Zitoku. Zitoku couldn't completely block the impact and was blasted far back. A long trench was carved into the ground as he skidded to a halt. But in the very next instant, we see Zitoku immediately standing right back up. His breathing was a bit heavy, but there wasn't a single trace of defeat in his eyes, only anger. He dusted off his shoulders and stood up straight. God of destruction, bug, he said softly in a mocking tone. That's all you guys know, isn't it? Looking down on others as bugs, viewing them as insignificant, seeing them as weaker than yourselves, and then, whenever you feel like erasing them, without thinking for a single second. His voice began to rise. You came to my world thinking the exact same thing, that we humans are bugs, that our lives have no value, and you crushed my people, my family, my friends the exact same way, without stopping to think even once. He clenched his fist, and inside it, the energies of both destruction and ultra instinct began to blaze together. So now, let me show you what happens when a bug strikes back. And then, Zitoku vanished. 1 second he was right in front of Lakir, and the next he delivered a massive blow. There was so much power in that impact that Lakir was launched into the air, crashing straight into a colossal rock formation. The rock shattered into pieces, and a massive cloud of dust rose. And now, the real battle began. The two clashed furiously. Every punch from Zitoku was met with a strike from Lakir, and every attack from Lakir was countered by Zitoku's speed. They clashed in the air, on the ground, amidst the rocks, everywhere. The planet trembled with every single collision. You were fighting with nothing but rage, Lakir yelled, blocking a punch. Rage won't protect you for long. Not rage, Zitoku countered, deflecting his strike and throwing it back. It's purpose. And purpose doesn't get tired, Lakir. Purpose doesn't stop. Every single one of Zitoku's strikes was overwhelming Lakir. The god of destruction, who until now considered himself the most powerful, was now backing turned for the first time. His attacks were falling short against Zitoku's speed. Zitoku was reading his every move in advance. The power of ultra instinct was keeping him one step ahead of every strike. One, then a second, then a third. Zitoku's relentless barrage gave Lakir no room to recover. And finally, a devastating punch slammed him into the ground. Lakir was heavily damaged. His body was covered in scratches, his breath was ragged, and for the first time, agony was clearly visible on his face. He was a god of destruction, and he was down on the ground. For a few moments, he just lay there. Then, slowly, he began to rise, trembling with rage, driven by sheer stubbornness. "Did you think," he said through gritted teeth, standing up, "that a god of destruction would bow down before a mortal?" His eyes had turned blood red. The dark energy inside him became far heavier than before. And after saying this, Lakir began to unfold his tails. His single tail slowly began to split apart, 1 into 2, 2 into 4, and then even more. Right before our eyes, Lakir unleashed his tails into 10 full sections. Each part swayed in the air, as if a dangerous weapon had just awakened. The battle had now reached a whole new level.
And at the end of each of Lakir's tails, there is destruction energy. Seeing this, Zitoku is a bit shocked. Looking at Lakir like this, He says a lot of things to himself. Wow, he's releasing destruction energy from every single one of his tails. So he really is a god of destruction. But still, why does his energy feel so weak? I thought standing in front of a god of destruction would be a bit difficult, but this doesn't seem like anything special. The energy coming out of these tails looks dangerous, but it doesn't have the power to stop me. Oh well, let's see what he does first. And on the other side, Liquier was standing there looking very angry, and he is completely serious about the fight because a god killer is standing right in front of him. And he knows that Zitoku could become a massive threat to all of them. Liquier thinks to himself, if I don't stop him right now, he will kill all of us, gods one by one. I don't see even a shred of fear in his eyes, and that's exactly what makes him the most dangerous. A normal enemy would have run away just seeing the energy of my tails, but he hasn't even moved. Him standing there so calmly proves that he is no ordinary enemy. I have to finish him right here, in this very spot, even if I have to use all of my power for it. Just then, Liquier yells at Zitoku, "Hey, God Killer, it's time for you to die, so get ready to die now." Zitoku looks at him without any expression and says in a calm voice, "To die? How many gods like you have told me the exact same thing, and where are they all now? Their only mistake was that they underestimated me, and now it looks like you are about to repeat the same mistake. Well, go ahead and make your attack. Let me also see just how much power a god of destruction actually has." Hearing this, Liquier gets even angrier. "Shut your nonsense. You don't understand who you are standing in front of. I have wiped out countless worlds with my own hands in my lifetime, and today is your turn. Today, I will crush your arrogance into the dirt along with your confidence. Let's see how you talk after that." Zitoku says softly, without moving from his spot, "Then show me. No one dies just from words. I am standing right here, put all the strength you have into it at once. I won't take a single step back. And if this attack of yours even manages to reach me, then I'll admit that you really are a god of destruction." Liquier loses all his patience. He screams, "Then I'll show you it reaching you now. Here is my answer." And as soon as he says this, he releases all his attacks straight towards Zitoku. And these energy balls were so dangerous that if even one of them collided with Zitoku, Zitoku's entire existence would be wiped out from this world forever. But even after seeing such a dangerous attack from Liquier coming his way, Zitoku was showing a lot of confidence, and he doesn't move from his spot at all. He just stands in his place and keeps looking at all the incoming energy balls with completely calm eyes, as if it's no big deal for him. And he says to himself, is this his full power? And he calls himself a god of destruction. After seeing this attack, I don't think this foolish god of destruction can even give me a good fight. He thinks he can stop me with this little bit of power? This is a joke. He put his entire life into it, and yet his energy will lose its effect before it even reaches me. I've been through attacks like this thousands of times, and every single time, I've stood exactly like this without moving a single step. For this, I won't even need to raise my hand. It looks like I accidentally came to the planet of the weakest god of destruction in this entire universe. I don't know why this always happens to me. Whenever I feel like I'm finally going to get a good opponent who can match me, even if it's just for a little while, someone like this shows up who is completely unaware of their own true strength and just keeps yelling for nothing. Maybe a real fight just isn't written in my destiny. Well, whatever. There's no point in wasting any more time than this. I'll finish this fight quickly so I can go to the rest of the gods. And I hope that fighting the other gods will give me a little bit of fun. At least someone will be there who forces me to use my full power. Otherwise, this entire journey and all my hard work will go to waste. Alright, let's end this weak god of destruction's game right here. He tried to fight me, so I will show him at least this much respect by finishing him off in a single blow. Just then, we see Zitoku pull out his axe, and there was so much power in his axe that it could cut anything into two pieces, even a god of destruction. Hard to believe anything could survive whole against the sharp edge of that axe. And at that exact moment, we see Zitoku passing right through the middle of Liquier's energy balls. And Zitoku's speed is so high that Liquier's energy balls can't even touch him. Those energy balls, which had the power to wipe out a god, are left craving to just touch Zitoku. And without stopping, without any fear, Zitoku rushes straight toward Liquier. He slips through the middle of each energy ball, as if he had already seen the path of every attack beforehand. and his eyes were locked only on his target Liqueur. Zitoku says to himself, "You wanted to stop me with such slow energy balls? These aren't even worthy of getting in my way. By the time these energy balls of yours reach their destination, I'll already be standing right in front of you." Seeing him close the distance so fast, Liqueur panics a little and thinks, "How did he get through so many of my attacks this fast? My energy balls couldn't even touch him. This is no ordinary god killer. I need to do something right now, otherwise." But by then, it was already too late. Before Liqueur could do anything ahead of his arrival, we see Zitoku's hand raise up and he passes right by Liqueur's side. Everything happens so fast that Liqueur doesn't even get a chance to compose himself. And right then, we see a cut form on Liqueur's neck, with blood dripping from it. Liqueur's eyes freeze right in place, as if he can't believe that this just happened. He says softly, "How? How is this possible? I didn't even see his attack. In one instant, he got this close to me, and the next instant, he cut me and moved past. Even as a god of destruction, I couldn't stop him." And Zitoku is so incredibly confident about his attack that he doesn't even look back, because he knows he has already done what he needed to do to Liqueur. For him, this fight was over the exact moment his axe swept past Liqueur. Looking back is only for an enemy who is still considered alive, and for Zitoku, Liqueur was no longer there. Moving forward, Zitoku says to himself, "It's done. There's no point in looking back now. What was meant to happen has happened, and even a god of destruction couldn't survive a single strike of my axe. Time to move forward, because there are still many more gods left. Let's see if at least one of them can give me a better fight than this. This weak god of destruction only disappointed me. I hope the next one can face this axe of mine at least a little bit. Otherwise, this entire journey will end without any fun." Liqueur is shocked to see Zitoku standing level with him, and we see Liqueur's jaw completely drop. He couldn't understand how a mortal could stand right there, looking him a god of destruction straight in the eye like this. The mortal whom he had considered a mere insect just a little while ago was now standing so close to him that Liqueur's breath completely stopped, and it felt to him like he was now breathing the last breaths of his life. For the first time, the fear of a god of destruction was clearly visible in his eyes. Just then, it looks to him as if everything around him has turned upside down, as if the entire world itself has shifted from its place. Then, we finally find out that Liqueur's head has been completely severed from his body, causing a massive amount of blood to pour from his neck, meaning Zitoku finished Liqueur off in a single strike. That god of destruction, who used to wipe out entire worlds in an instant, had himself fallen to the ground from a single blow, and he didn't even get the chance to understand how his end came. After this, Zitoku puts his axe behind him and walks over to Liqueur's dead body. Looking at it, he says, "You had 10 years to make yourself even more powerful, but still, you couldn't do anything. You spent all this time wrapped up only in your pride, and now the consequence is right in front of you. You thought that because you were a god, you never needed to fear anyone. But that exact thinking became your biggest mistake." Looking at his corpse, Zitoku continues, "And now I understand why you gods wanted to team up and kill me. Because you all realized that a mortal had become so powerful that none of you could face him alone. That's why instead of fighting me one-on-one, you thought about wiping me out together. You all viewed me as a threat that could only be stopped by working together. But this trick of yours didn't work either, because you guys came before me one by one, and one by one, you kept getting wiped out. Now the rest of your comrades are waiting for this exact same end." And right then, we see Zitoku extend his hand and start forming a massive destruction energy ball. In his eyes now, it isn't just coldness, but a deep pain and anger. And he says, "Liqueur, a single death is not enough for you all. You guys erased everything that I loved. You thought you were just wiping out a world, but you stole my entire universe from me. Everything that was good in my life is completely gone now, solely because of you people. There was a time when I lived like an ordinary person, among my people, happy in my own little world. I never had any desire to fight any god. The people who were very dear to me can't even rest in peace after dying, because you have erased every single one of them. You didn't even give them a death that had any dignity. You wiped away every trace of their existence. Neither their memory is left, nor any sign of them, as if they were never even in this world. And this exact thing burns me the deepest inside. And now, You won't get that chance either. Just like you completely wiped my people from this world, I will wipe you out now so that no name, no trace of you remains left in this universe. Let no one remember you. Let no one cry for you. Exactly how there is no one left for my loved ones now. This is your punishment, and this punishment will not be fulfilled just by death. The glow of Zitoku's energy ball becomes even brighter. For a moment, he looks at Liquir's corpse, as if he is pouring all his anger, all his pain into that single attack. And then without stopping, right as he says this, Zitoku releases his destruction energy ball toward Liquir. Following this, we see a massive explosion, after which we see that Liquir is completely erased. His name, his trace, his corpse, everything is finished forever at that exact moment. Where a god of destruction was standing just a few moments ago, now nothing remains left there. Zitoku lowers his hand and keeps looking at that empty space where the protector of an entire world stood just moments before. On his face, there was no happiness, no pride of victory, only a deep exhaustion and a lingering pain. He says to himself, "One is finished, but this is not the end. Until all you gods are wiped out, I will not stop. You snatched everything from me, and now I will take it back from all of you, settling the score one by one. Even if I have to track down and wipe out every single god in this entire universe for this, I will not step back." And saying this much, Zitoku picks up his axe and moves forward to begin his journey toward the next god. Then we see Zitoku go back toward Whis' staff and pick it up. He wanted to leave that place so he could finish off the rest of the gods as well. This staff was his means to travel from one place to another, and with its help, he intended to reach every single god one by one. Zitoku thinks to himself, "One is finished, now it's the next one's turn. Without this staff, it would have taken me years to find every god. With its help, I can travel from one place to another in an instant. Now let's see who the next god is to face me." Right at that moment, just when Zitoku is about to leave, Korn calls out to Zitoku. There was a calmness in his voice, but behind that calmness, a deep fear was also hidden. Korn says, "Zitoku, stop. Before you leave from here, before you go away, I want to tell you something. The angel staff you are using right now is not meant for a mortal's use. And you must know this too. This staff belongs to my brother Whis." Anxiety now becomes clearly visible in Korn's eyes. He continues, "I don't know what you have done to my brother Whis. Where he is, what condition he is in, I know nothing. But when his staff is in your hand, and he himself is nowhere to be seen, my heart tells me you must have done the same to him as what you've been doing to everyone else. And just that thought shakes me to my core. I also can't understand how you are even able to lift Whis' staff, because an angel's staff can only be handled by the specific angel it belongs to. And it is not meant for anyone else's use. In the hands of a mortal, this staff shouldn't have been of any use. It should have dropped from your hand on its own. Yet, you are holding it as if it's your own. This is completely prohibited. It goes against everything. And that is exactly what is troubling me the most. What on earth have you done that an angel's staff has come under your control? And on top of that, you aren't even using this staff to do anything good. You are using it only to spread destruction, to kill gods. The creators of this staff made it to maintain the world, not to erase it. And you are going against everything it stands for. I want to tell you to leave this staff right here. For now, you have done quite enough to ruin the reputation of the angels. And now, I won't let you ruin the angels' reputation any further. Being an angel, it is my responsibility not to let this staff fall into the wrong hands, even if I have to stand against you myself for it." Zitoku listens to all of this calmly. He thinks to himself, "So this one is an angel too, Whis' brother. He is talking big about righteousness as well, the reputation of the angels, the respect of the staff, maintaining the world. But when I was killing all those people he calls his own, where was he? When my world was being erased, none of these angels and gods extended a hand toward me. And today, when I am settling the score with all of them, he has come to teach me right from wrong." Just then, we see Zitoku looking at Korn with a slight smile, and he says, "Oh, really? So that's how it is? If you cared so much about your brother, your staff, and the reputation of the angels, then why don't you do something about it, you weak angel? When your brother was standing in front of me, where was this courage of yours? Now that everything is done, you come here to give me a lecture." Zitoku's smile gets a little deeper. He continues, You are talking big that you will stop me, that you won't let me ruin the angel's reputation. But no one stops just from words. If you truly have that much power, then try and take this staff from me. Otherwise, standing there just showing your helplessness won't achieve anything. And remember one thing, I am not going to stop by threats from the likes of you. Many people more powerful than you have tried to stop me, and they are all nowhere to be found now. So if your life is dear to you, get out of my way. And if you truly want to fulfill your duty as an angel, then step forward. Then let's see how true your big words really are. Hearing this, Korn clenches his fist. He had realized that stopping Zitoku with words alone was impossible. On his face now, it wasn't the previous anxiety, but a firm decision. He says to himself, this mortal has crossed his limit. It's useless to talk to him. Now, if I fail to take this staff back, he will wipe out who knows how many more gods. No matter what the outcome is, I must face him. Just then, Korn gets extremely angry and says, Zitoku, do you even know who you are talking to? It looks like I'll have to remind you that I am neither a god of destruction nor some mortal. The one you are considering an ordinary enemy is way more than that. I am completely different from everyone you have faced so far. And today, you will realize what it truly means to stand in front of an angel. Both anger and hatred now begin to show in Korn's eyes. Thinking about his brother makes him flare up even more. Inside him, only one thing was going on. He will definitely settle the score for whatever this mortal did to his brother. Just then, Zitoku says completely calmly, without any fear, do whatever you want to do, you foolish angel. Don't try to scare me with words. I have heard threats like this many times before, and every single time, the one making them got wiped out by my hands before they could even finish their words. So keep these threats of yours to yourself. If you truly want to do something, then show it with your power instead of words. Then Korn says, it looks like you've grown a bit too arrogant about your own power. Even if you killed Beerus and Liquia, you don't have enough power inside you to defeat me, you brainless mortal. The way you killed them, your punishment will be far more horrific than that. Get ready for your painful death. And yes, you will feel a lot of pain, a whole lot of it. All the deaths you have handed out will come before you all at once today. The people you wiped out without any pain still got a quick release. But I won't let you die that easily. Korn pauses slightly and continues. And yes, we angels possess some of Zeno-sama and the Grand Priest's powers, meaning Ultra Instinct. The Ultra Instinct you are using is not the real Ultra Instinct. The real Ultra Instinct belongs to Omni Angels and us angels, and we gods know how to use it in a much better way. This power has been taught to us angels for generations, and it takes years of meditation to achieve it. It isn't stolen through deception like you did. Achieving its true power is completely beyond the capability of insect mortals like you. You have probably just learned a mere glimpse of it, and out of that arrogance, you've started considering yourself the most powerful. But when the real Ultra Instinct comes before you, you will realize that until now, you were only playing with a shadow. The power you consider your greatest strength will burn out like a common spark in front of my true power. In front of a real angel, this half-baked power of yours is nothing. And yes, that is exactly why I am telling you to return my brother Whis' staff. Because you have already ruined the angel's reputation quite enough. Seeing an angel's staff in the hand of a killer like this is a matter of shame for all of us angels. And I can no longer tolerate this shame. Zitoku keeps listening to all of this, but not a single line of fear shows on his face. He thinks to himself, real Ultra Instinct, Angel's Power, Zeno-sama, Grand Priest. He is counting so many names just to make his words look big, but no one wins just by counting names. If he truly has that much power, then why is he wasting time in words? Maybe he himself knows that fighting me won't be that easy. But just then, we see that none of Korn's words make any difference to Zitoku, and he is laughing like a villain. And then he says, what? Evil deeds? I don't know why, but I liked hearing that. You think I have done evil deeds, but what do you know about what pain I had to go through to choose this path? People like you who always sat up high watching everything will never understand my pain. That's why your judgments of right and wrong hold no meaning for me. But Korn, now you listen to my words carefully. I already know this fact that you are incredibly powerful. I mean, you are more powerful than that brainless fox and even those two gods that I just killed. I don't deny this fact. But there is no need to do this useless talking for the thing you want to achieve. Come and fight me, and if you have the guts, then try and take this staff of Whis away from me. I am giving you this chance myself. But yes, this true ultra instinct of yours, make sure to show it. Let me also see just how powerful it actually is. Because if it is better than my ultra instinct, then I must see it with my own eyes. Or do you only talk big, and when the real time comes, all this power of yours will just stay on your tongue? Spinning Whis' staff in his hand, Zitoku continues, I am waiting, Korn. Don't delay any longer. Show me that power you've been bragging about for so long. Otherwise, I will take it that an angel's words are much bigger than his actual power. Hearing these words from Zitoku, Korn's anger rises even more. He says to himself, this mortal is calling upon his own death with his own hands. He stole my brother's staff, killed gods, and now he is mocking me. Now I will show him what it means to stand in front of an angel's real ultra instinct. All the battles he has won until today, he won't even remember them anymore. Korn slowly straightens his hands and says, fine, Zitoku, you chose this death yourself. Now don't complain that I didn't warn you. Today you will find out what the difference is between a mortal and an angel. And when this fight is over, this staff will be back with its true owner, and your name will also be wiped out along with the names of all those people you have wiped out. Then, we see that Korn is slightly taken aback upon hearing Zitoku's words. He thinks to himself, he isn't listening to me at all, and judging by his words, he doesn't seem even the slightest bit afraid. I knew from the start that being imprisoned for so long had broken this mortal's mind. That's exactly why this mortal has started thinking he is more powerful than even the angels. Otherwise, no sane person would dare stand before an angel and say such things. He has no fear, no hesitation, and that is exactly what makes him so dangerous. Korn continues to think, and looking at him, it seems his sole purpose is to destroy all the gods. The troubling part is that he currently possesses enough power to truly wipe out all the gods of destruction. Before I look for another god to replace Liquier, I must first inform Father about this. If Father finds out about his true strength, maybe he can find a way. Facing this mortal alone has become too difficult. He isn't just an enemy, he has become a storm that will sweep away every god with him. But while Korn is thinking all of this, his facial expression suddenly changes, as if something completely unexpected has just happened. His eyes suddenly widen, as if he cannot believe his own thoughts. Then, he speaks in shock. No, he can't do that. How can a mortal dare to strike an angel? After saying this, Korn's body begins to ache with pain. Then, we find out that Zitoku struck with his axe with such speed that Korn didn't get even the slightest hint of it. We see Zitoku's axe piercing completely through Korn's chest. Neither Korn nor anyone else could have imagined that Zitoku could attack even angels. Until now, it was believed that angels were above this conflict, that no mortal could even touch them. Angels only taught and guided the gods. They never became part of any battle themselves. That is why Korn had never even dreamed that a mortal strike would hit him. But today, Zitoku achieved what was considered impossible until now. To him, whether it was an angel or a god, every enemy was the same, and every enemy had to meet the same end. Then, we see blood beginning to pour from Korn's mouth. And this is the first time we see an angel injured. The angels, whom no one had ever seen bleed, today one of them was looking at the blood flowing from his own chest. This sight in itself was impossible, as if a rule that had existed forever had been broken. Then, Korn screams in pain and says to Zitoku, "Hey mortal, what are you doing? You have crossed your line. To raise a hand against an angel, you cannot even imagine the consequences of this. After doing this, you cannot leave this place alive. Understand? Now all the angels and gods will come after you, and you won't be able to hide anywhere." But despite hearing Korn's words, Zitoku doesn't care at all. Zitoku is surrounded by dark electricity, and there is an evil smile on his face. His eyes no longer hold that calmness, but rather a fire that had been burning deep inside for years. After this, Zitoku says, "What did you say? That I can't escape from here alive?" Actually, that is exactly what I want for all the gods to come before me. I don't want any god hiding and escaping from me. Instead of hunting them down one by one, it's better if they all just come to me themselves. And I am tired of playing this game of hide and seek. searching for each god, going to every single place. All of this takes too much time. I want them all to come before me on their own, so I can settle the score with all of them at once. Therefore, there is no question of leaving you alive. But yes, your death will definitely serve as a message to the remaining gods that no one can escape me anymore. Neither god nor angel. And did you notice that after Liquid's death, not a single god has come here? But when I killed Beerus, all the gods of destruction came together instantly. At that time, they considered me an ordinary mortal and pounced on me, thinking they would all team up and finish me in an instant. But they were wrong. One by one, they kept falling by my hands. But now, all those gods know exactly who they are facing. And the bad part is, now you know it too. What a shame. Those gods who call themselves the protectors of this universe have now hidden away, terrified of a mortal's name. They will think 1,000 times before coming forward, because they know that whoever stands before me, their fate will be no different from Beerus and Liquier. And that is what bothers me the most, because if they don't come, I will have to find them one by one, and that will take time. I knew from the beginning that you were just talking garbage. When you were talking so big about your power, about your true ultra instinct, that was when I understood it was all just a show. And I have known this since you first tried to stop me. You were saying that you have true ultra instinct. If you had it, my axe would never have pierced through your body, and certainly not so easily. You were just lying, and I absolutely hate liars. You thought that by using big names and making false boasts about your power, you would scare me. But your trick backfired on you. If you really had that power, you would have erased me long ago instead of trying to stop me. But you couldn't do that, because you never had that power to begin with. How dare you try to threaten someone who has absolutely no fear inside him? You thought that hearing the name of death would make me step back. But you don't know that I lost everything long before death. After all, who am I going to fear for now? Fear is felt by a person who still has something left to lose. But I have nothing left now. The gods took everything I lived for away from me, my family, my friends, and my home. All those things that connected me to this life, you people tore them away from me. And even Whis, whom you called your brother, is gone now too. And the reason for all of this is you and Liquier. Because all of you angels let those gods do whatever they wanted to do. You all kept watching, stayed silent, and let every single atrocity happen. If you wanted to, you could have stopped them, but you did no such thing. You distanced yourselves from all of this, as if it wasn't your responsibility at all. Therefore, as guilty as they are, all of you angels are just as guilty too. And today, one by one, I will give every guilty soul their punishment, whether they are a god or an angel. Holding his bleeding chest and struggling through the pain, Korn keeps listening to everything Zitoku says. A new fear was now taking birth inside him. This fear was not of his own death, but rather that if he couldn't stop this mortal right here, he would truly erase every god and angel in the entire universe. He thinks to himself, there is truth in what this mortal is saying, somewhere down the line. We truly did nothing to stop the gods. But does that mean his destruction is justified? No. I must deliver this message to Father somehow, otherwise it will be too late. But Korn knew that he had very little time left. For an angel, being injured was an anomaly in itself. And this wound was no ordinary wound. It was inflicted by the power of Whis' own staff. Zitoku continued speaking. You don't deserve to be called Whis' brother at all. Whis was an angel who actually had the courage to set a wrong thing right. Unlike you, he wasn't just an angel of words who would watch silently while injustice happened. And you will be shocked to know that it was Whis who freed me. The one who pulled me out of the prison your gods threw me into was none other than your own brother. Upon hearing this, Korn is completely shocked and says, What? Whis freed you? That's impossible, because no angel interferes in the matters of mortals, especially a punishment given by our father. I think you are definitely lying. You must have trapped Whis in your snare and killed him. Whis could never go against father's decision. That is our absolute law. A mortal like you cannot slander my brother's name by lying. I will absolutely not believe this. To this, Zitoku replies, I don't know how well you knew your brother, but let me tell you, Whis wasn't someone who could be blindsided. He was far ahead of all of you, both in strength and in mindset. If any of you angels possessed true ultra instinct, it was Whis. And as you said, what Whis did is impossible. No, it wasn't impossible. In the end, He did exactly what made him truly worthy of being called an angel, because he sacrificed himself so that I could be freed, and so I could stop all of you gods. We saw what the gods were doing, and he couldn't just stand by and tolerate it. He did what a true angel should do. He chose right over wrong, even if he had to pay for it with his own life. And that is exactly what made him different from you and the rest of the angels. And on his way out, Whis told me everything about the angels, like what happens to an angel when the god of destruction of that universe is killed. He told me the secret that you people probably never wanted any mortal to know, and that very secret has become your greatest weakness today. Hearing this, a deep sorrow blankets Korn's face. His voice begins to tremble, and he says softly, "No, Whis, you shouldn't have done that. You gave your life to free this mortal, and now he is erasing everyone. Did you even have any idea what the consequences of your decision would be?" Right then, a massive, evil smile appears on Zitoku's face, and he says, You understood perfectly. Know this. When a god of destruction is killed, his angel becomes completely inactive until a new god arrives in his universe. And along with that, all of your power vanishes, just like the flame of a lamp being blown out. This means the exact moment I killed Liquier, all of your power was gone. The Ultra Instinct you considered your greatest strength is of no use to you now. Did you think I attacked you without knowing these things? I knew that right now, you are weaker than even an ordinary angel. That's why my axe pierced through your chest so easily, and I think it's time to make you disappear too. After saying this, Zitoku begins to laugh. Terrified, Korn says, "No, Zitoku, you can't do this. You can't kill an angel. Otherwise, something terrible will happen to you. Stop, because Father will never allow this. Shedding an angel's blood is a sin he will never forgive. If you do this, Father and the Grand Priest will come to stop you themselves, and then none of your power will be of any use to you. There is still time. Stop." The moment Korn mentions the Grand Priest, Zitoku pulls his axe out of Korn's chest. Korn thinks he finally pulled the axe out. It seems this mortal hasn't gone completely insane, but he will have to suffer the punishment for the evil things he has done. Perhaps there is still a shred of humanity left inside him. If I can somehow get out of here and reach Father, everything can be fixed. Right then, Zitoku straightens up and says to Korn, "Oh, so if I kill all of you angels, those two shorties will come to stop me? Wow, that's actually wonderful news. Because I was getting tired of fighting all you weak angels. One after another, these gods and angels come before me and get erased without putting up a decent fight. It gives me no joy, only fatigue. But now, I feel the time has come for me to get a real challenge. If those two are truly as powerful as you say, then fighting them might actually give me the thrill I've been waiting for all this time. Thank you very much for telling me this, Korn. You have given me a new hope, and in return for this favor, I will try to ensure you feel no pain at all. This will be my final gift to you." As soon as he says this, Zitoku swings his axe so fast that Korn doesn't get a single moment to compose himself. The angel who was bragging about his power just a moment ago now stood completely helpless, with no strength left and no way to escape. Zitoku unleashes a flurry of attacks with his axe, after which we see that Korn has been hacked into pieces. Korn's body is completely covered in deep slash marks. The angel, whom no one had ever even seen injured, was now completely finished before Zitoku. And with this, another name is added to the list of those Zitoku had cleared from his path now. His eyes were set on those remaining two forces, whom he had been waiting for all this time. Then, we see Zitoku begin to laugh like a villain and say, "Forgive me, Korn, that wasn't as painful as I thought it would be. I promised you that I wouldn't let you feel too much pain, and I kept that promise. Being an angel, this is at least the amount of respect I can give you. And now, the time has come to completely destroy you. Not a single trace of you will remain in this world." As soon as Zitoku says this, he extends one of his hands and prepares a massive energy ball, saying, "Bye-bye, Korn." Then, he releases his energy ball, which the wounded angel no longer had any strength left to stop. A massive explosion occurs, and when the blast settles, we cannot see Korn anywhere. That angel, his power, his name, his every trace, everything vanishes forever at that very moment, as if he had never existed at all. Even after killing Liquier and Korn, there isn't the slightest bit of guilt on Zitoku's face. Instead, he wears an evil smile. There was no regret or sorrow on his face, as if, to him, all of this was just a job that needed to be finished. The pain inside him had distanced him from every emotion now. Only one thing remained in his heart, and that was revenge. And now, Zitoku has only 10 gods and 10 angels left to kill. He thinks to himself, 2 down, 20 more to go. Until all of these gods and angels are erased, this journey of mine will not stop. And I know that as I move forward, I will face those who will be far more powerful than the ones before. Then, Zitoku orders Whis' staff and says, "Take me to the next god of destruction." Right then, we see Zitoku arrive on a strange planet. There are massive pyramids all around this planet, making it look like an ancient, mysterious world. Looking at such a planet, Zitoku fails to understand which planet he has ended up on. This place was different from all other places, and it held a strange silence, the kind of silence that happens before an oncoming storm. Then, we see Zitoku close his eyes, after which he tries to sense the surroundings. Putting all of his energy into it, he tries to find the presence of any living thing on this planet, but he senses nothing. No movement, no energy, as if there was no one else on this entire planet besides him. And then, he says to himself, "I have never been to a planet like this before. These pyramids, this silence, everything feels so unfamiliar. Is this the place where the god of destruction of this universe resides? I don't know where the god of this universe is hiding. Though it makes no difference to me, he can go anywhere or try to hide anywhere. I will find him no matter what, even if I have to search every single corner of this planet." Until now, all the gods who came before me were erased without putting up much of a fight. But I certainly hope that this god will give me a bit of a challenge. At least a match where I get a chance to use my power. Otherwise, this entire journey will pass by without any fun. Right then, Zitoku sees something that shocks him, and he looks up toward the sky. He sees many tiny dots in the sky, which are continuously growing larger. At first, Zitoku doesn't understand what these are, but as they get closer, he realizes that they are arrows rapidly raining down on him, and their number was so vast that the entire sky was covered by these arrows. Furthermore, all of these arrows are made of Hakai energy, the very energy that can erase anything from existence. This means these arrows possess the power to completely erase Zitoku. No matter how fast or powerful Zitoku may be, he cannot escape this Hakai energy. This was no ordinary attack, it was a trap laid specifically for Zitoku, and he had walked straight into it. And right then, we see all the arrows begin to rain down on Zitoku all at once, like an unstoppable downpour. Zitoku had no place to escape and no time to think. Zitoku was in such shock that, for the first time, he fails to dodge an attack. The man who until now could see every strike coming was today rendered helpless before the onslaught of these arrows. The arrows pierce into his body one after another, and his pain is clearly visible on his face. Zitoku begins to scream in pain. This was the same Zitoku who hadn't shown his weakness to anyone until now, and today he was groaning in pain. We see blood begin to pour from his body, and his steps start to falter. As we all know, these are no ordinary arrows. Every single one of these arrows is trying to destroy Zitoku, and it is only Zitoku's willpower that has kept him alive until now. Otherwise, anyone else would have been erased by the very first strike of this Hakai energy. The resolve inside him, his obsession with taking revenge, was not letting him bow down before this pain. Grinding his teeth in agony, he says, "No, I can't die like this. My work isn't finished yet. Where did these arrows come from? Who is hiding and attacking me like this?" Zitoku is so badly wounded that, screaming in pain, he falls to the ground. He is using all of his strength right now to ensure he doesn't give up in any way. Because if he gives up for even a single moment, these arrows will completely destroy him, and his revenge will remain incomplete. Placing both of his hands on the ground, he tries to steady himself while every arrow was tearing through his body. Every single moment was bringing more pain than the last, but he didn't close his eyes, because he knew that closing his eyes would mean inviting death. The obsession inside him was far greater than his suffering. Then, gathering all his courage, Zitoku says, "No, this fight cannot end like this. I have made a promise to my family and to everyone, so I cannot let this fight end so easily. I have promised to destroy all the gods, and I will fulfill that promise until my last breath. Killing just 1 or 2 gods is not enough. Until there is an end to every single one of them who snatched my world away, I cannot die." The souls of my loved ones will not rest in peace until then, and I cannot leave them like this. Zitoku keeps screaming from the pain, but there was still no sign of defeat in his eyes. Right then, we see Helios and her angel appear before him. These two were the ones who had hidden and laid this trap of Hakai arrows for Zitoku. Unlike the other gods, they weren't careless. They had understood Zitoku's strength, and that's why they didn't give him a chance to fight face to face. And now, they watch Zitoku from a distance, because they want to be completely sure whether their attack has truly defeated Zitoku or not. They were not ready to make the mistake of underestimating this mortal, because they had seen that the price of this mistake was paid by the other gods with their lives. There was a look of seriousness on Helios' face. She knew that, until this mortal was completely erased, she couldn't even breathe a sigh of relief. Then, we see the angel Sour say to Helios, "That was quite impressive. From what I had heard about this god killer, I didn't think he would fall into this trap so easily. But your idea truly worked wonders, and now this god killer is sitting on the ground like a rat. The one who destroyed so many gods and an angel with his axe is today lying helpless, stripped of his strength. Seeing this makes me realize that you truly think differently from everyone else." Then Helios laughs and says to Sawa, "Sawa, how could you ever doubt the most powerful female god of destruction in the universe? I have beauty, brains, and power. I have it all. The other gods let the pride of their strength get to them and underestimated this mortal, and they had to pay for that mistake with their lives. But I am not a fool like them. I knew defeating him face to face wouldn't be easy, so I used my brain. But truly, you are lucky to be my angel, because hardly any other god of destruction possesses a mindset like mine." Then, we see Zitoku sitting on the ground, looking as if he has given up. The arrows lodged in his body were still burning him from the inside, and his blood kept flowing onto the ground. But something completely different was brewing behind his eyes, which Helios and Sour had failed to realize yet. Right at that moment, we see Lord Helios and the angel Sour walk up to Zitoku. Helios steps forward and starts laughing. "So, you are the god killer who murdered the god of your own universe. I am quite glad that I got the chance to meet you face to face. To be honest, I haven't been on a date with any man in a long time, and seeing you in this state today brings me a strange sort of joy. The mortal, whose name terrified all the gods, is today lying at my feet." Helios continues, "And looking at you, it seems you haven't changed at all in 10 years. I don't know what I was expecting. I didn't think you wouldn't have changed a single bit. Today, you are still the same fool who doesn't know what he's doing. You thought you could erase all the gods on your own, but you didn't consider that not every god is the same. Some fight with strength, and some with intellect. But yes, it's a pity. I would have enjoyed playing with you. I wish this game had lasted a bit longer, so I could have watched your helplessness a little more." After this, Helios makes her move, stepping closer to Zitoku and touching an arrow lodged in his shoulder. Zitoku fails to understand what Helios is trying to do. For a split second, he thought she might give him some relief, but there was no relief in Helios' eyes, only a cruel joy. Then, we see Helios give a cruel smile as she slowly, deliberately tortures Zitoku by pulling the arrow out of his shoulder. She speaks to Zitoku with fake empathy. "I think you need help." But her eyes showed that this wasn't help, but just an excuse to cause him more pain. Zitoku begins to scream in agony, and even more blood pours from his shoulder. Seeing this pain brings a bizarre satisfaction to Helios' face, as if she finds pleasure in someone else's suffering. Right in front of Zitoku, Helios licks the blood off the arrow and says, "Wow, you have no idea how much I miss this. The pain and fear in your blood truly makes it taste so delicious. I could lick this blood all day without getting bored. The more pain you feel, the more delicious this blood of yours will be. And I intend to enjoy this to the fullest, because an opportunity like this doesn't come around often. So Zitoku, tell me, now that you are just moments away from your death, how does it feel? Because you are about to be erased, are you feeling the exact same fear that Beerus and Liquir felt? Now you too can know what it feels like to stand facing your own death, the very feeling you gave to all those gods. Today, that same feeling awaits you, and there is no one to save you this time." Zitoku is completely shocked upon seeing this side of Helios. He thinks to himself, "So this is how the people I considered gods actually are. These people who are called the protectors of this universe are filled with such cruelty and filth. To take pleasure in a human's pain, to lick his blood, and to laugh at his suffering, what kind of god is this?" This mindset doesn't belong to a protector, but to a demon. And then, Zitoku only says this much to Helles. You are so repulsive. You call yourself a god, but you are worse than an ordinary enemy. Then, Helles says, this coming from you, who himself destroyed the god of destruction of your own universe, the one who protected that universe. You yourself have killed so many people, erased so many gods, and now you are calling me repulsive? Judgments of right and wrong don't sound good coming from the mouth of a killer like you. But forget it, none of this matters anymore. Just remember that in a few moments, you will be completely erased by my Hakai arrow. And by now, you must have realized that this time, no trick and no power of yours can save you. Zitoku looked somewhat disappointed. His head was bowed, blood was continuously flowing from his body, and his breathing had grown heavy. It looked as if Zitoku had truly accepted defeat. Helles and Sour also believed that this game was finally coming to an end. But they were probably forgetting that Zitoku had never given up this easily in his entire life. Then Zitoku says, an arrow made of Hakai energy. This is the exact same kind of arrow you used to kill my friend. You erased him, even though he had done nothing wrong. He was just with me. He was one of my own. He hadn't harmed anyone. Yet you wiped him from existence without a second thought. You used this exact same kind of arrow, the same Hakai energy, the same helplessness. And to this day, I have never been able to forget that sight. Hearing this, Helles is quite surprised. So Zitoku, while facing your final moments, you aren't thinking about yourself? Are you talking about your best friend? Who was he anyway? Are you wasting your final moments on some ordinary mortal? Do you have any idea how many different kinds of people I kill? To me, they are all just a number, a task I have to complete. You are asking me about your best friend when I destroy those who break the rules in my own universe. I don't even remember them, so how would I remember your best friend? If these were your final words, then you have wasted them. Before dying, I have seen people beg for their lives, but you are wasting your final breaths over a name. How foolish you are. We see that as soon as Helles says this, Zitoku suddenly begins to stand up, even though the arrows were still lodged in his body. Hearing Helles' careless words breaks something inside Zitoku. The anger buried deep within him begins to surface. As Zitoku stands up, a completely different aura begins to form around him, and dark electricity starts surging toward him. This was the power that had been buried under the pain until now, and it was now breaking all its limits to burst forth. The pain of every arrow was now fueling his power even more. Then, we see Sour freeze in shock upon witnessing this, because he knew that Zitoku was no ordinary mortal. No matter how powerful Zitoku might be, standing up after being hit by so many Hakai arrows was impossible for anyone. For the first time, a clear fear appears in Sour's eyes, because he realized that what was happening right now was far more dangerous than anything they had imagined. He asks Zitoku, Zitoku, what kind of power do you possess inside you? This body should have been erased ages ago. I don't understand how he is somehow able to stand. Even after taking this much Hakai energy, why isn't his body dissolving? This is no ordinary power. Lord Helles, I feel that if we don't stop him right now, he could become a massive threat to us. We may have made a mistake in understanding him. The moment Zitoku stands completely upright, he immediately begins to power up, and the ground around him starts to shake from his power. We see him say in absolute rage, "How dare you! Do you even remember the names of the people you have destroyed? You are a monster who feels nothing even after taking the lives of others. For those to whom death is just a number, how could they know that an entire world shatters when a single person is gone? Let me remind you of just how many people you have destroyed. Today, I will make you remember every single name you wiped out without a thought. You will remember the names of those you destroyed very soon, because today, your death will come with the exact same pain you inflicted upon all of them." Seeing this, Helles is stunned by what is happening to him. The cruel smile on her face begins to vanish completely. An incredible amount of energy was erupting from inside Zitoku, an energy that was shaking the entire atmosphere. Helles takes a step back for a moment and says, "No, this can't be happening. This energy, this simply cannot be the energy of an ordinary mortal." Sensing Zitoku's energy brings back an old memory for Helles. This is the exact same energy she used to feel while standing before Beerus. This was no ordinary strength. And this energy belongs to none other than a destroyer, the very power that can erase anything in this universe. Did my Hakai arrows not work at all? I put all my planning, all my cunning into this one attack, and yet this mortal stands? How can this even be possible? There was no god of destruction candidate in Universe 7, so where did this mortal get this energy of destruction from? Beerus, what have you done? Why did you teach a mortal the energy of destruction? Did you have any idea that this mistake of yours would one day come back as death for all of us? For the first time, a deep, visible fear washes over Helios's face, the exact same fear she had seen on the faces of the other gods, and one she never wanted to experience herself. Right then, we see Zitoku slowly stepping toward Helios, saying, "Gods, your time to die has come. Just a moment ago, you were enjoying my blood, laughing at my pain, and waiting for my death. Now let's see how it feels when you face your own death." And Helios is so terrified of Zitoku that she goes completely blank. The same Helios who just a moment ago was proud of her beauty, her intellect, and her power, now had all her arrogance vanish. She doesn't know what to do. She can neither run nor fight. Her body feels frozen, and it seems like she is now ready for her death. Right then, Helios says to herself, "Is this my end? His power and speed are so high that I can't do anything to stop him. I just hope my children stay safe. I lived my entire life with pride as a god of destruction, destroying thousands of worlds with my own hands. But why am I so helpless before a mortal today? Maybe this was my destiny. The pain I gave to others is coming back to me today. But I wish this mortal doesn't reach my children after me. I wish everything ends right here with my death." Meanwhile, on the other side, the angel Sour becomes furious upon seeing his lady in this state. He was no longer calm like before. There was a deep seriousness on his face and an intent in his eyes that had never been seen before. Looking at him, it was clear that he would no longer sit quietly and watch everything happen. Instead, he was about to take major action. Right then, we see the angel Sour beginning to use his Ultra Instinct power, and we see a highly brilliant aura starting to surround him. The strength of his Ultra Instinct was so impressive that a new tension fills the entire atmosphere. This was the very power that angels have to meditate for generations to achieve. And now Sour had fully awakened that power to save his lady. And he says to himself, "Even if I have to break the angel law, I cannot let Lady Helios die like this right before my eyes. As an angel, my duty is only to guide the god, not to fight, but today I will have to break this rule. For the safety of the universe, I must finish him right this instant, before he causes any more destruction. If this mortal keeps growing like this, he will one day become a threat to all of existence. I can think about answering Father for breaking this rule later right now. The most important thing is to stop this mortal." Right then, we see Sour, with all his power, coming forward to attack Zitoku. And he says, "Zitoku, you won't be able to do this in front of me. As long as I am alive, you cannot even touch Lady Helios. Today, you will find out what a real Ultra Instinct is." Seeing this, Helios is shocked even amidst her fear of death, because she had never seen an angel attack on their own accord without permission before. This was against the ultimate rule of the angels. Because an angel always takes action only when told by the god of destruction, waiting for their command, and until today, no angel had ever attacked anyone on their own accord. This step by Sour was unprecedented in itself, as if a rule that had been running since the beginning of creation had broken. This alone showed to what extent Sour wanted to save his lady. Right then, Helios says to Sour in a trembling voice, "Sour, what are you doing? You are an angel. You shouldn't fight on your own accord like this. This is against our rule." But Sour, completely ignoring her words, suddenly steps right between Helios and Zitoku to protect his lady from this mortal. But right then, Sour's eyes suddenly fill with shock, and he freezes in his tracks, saying helplessly, What is this?" We see that Zitoku has completely changed his form. His hair, his eyes, the aura surrounding him, everything had changed. He was now using perfect Ultra Instinct. The very power that Sour considered his ultimate strength was now possessed by his enemy, and it was far better and more complete than Sour's Ultra Instinct. Seeing this, all of Sour's confidence shattered in a single moment. Zitoku smiles, seeing the shock plastered on Sour's face, and says, "Oh, I see. Ultra Instinct. How foolish of you. Just a little while ago, your brother Korn was also trying to scare me with this same Ultra Instinct. Did you think you were the only one who could use perfect Ultra Instinct? You people think this power is the exclusive property of you gods and angels, that no mortal can ever attain it. But you were wrong. And to be honest, seeing how easily I am handling it, it looks like I use it much better than you do. Right then, we see Sour suddenly try to attack Zitoku. With all his might, he tries to strike Zitoku with his staff. But for Zitoku, seeing this strike and dodging it was as easy as child's play without putting in much effort. He dodges Sour's attack in a single swift motion. Sour's staff is left swinging in the air, and he cannot comprehend how his lightning fast strike missed completely. A smile appears on Zitoku's face, and he says, "Angel, you are far too slow. You wanted to stop me with just this much power? Now it's time for you to go meet your brother Korn. He was making the exact same mistake you are making, and you could see his consequence with your own eyes." Right then, we see Zitoku pull out his axe. He swings his axe with such speed that even powerful beings like Sour and Helles couldn't see his movement at all. For both of them, everything happened in a single instant. They didn't even realize when Zitoku got close to them, when he swung his axe, and when he finished his strike. By the time they could understand anything, it was already too late. Right then, we see that both Helles and Sour's bodies have been cut. Seeing this, both Helles and Sour are shocked in their final moments as to how a mortal could actually do this. A mortal whom they had considered nothing more than a rat just moments ago. And the angel Sour, who had risked his life to save Helles. Forget about saving Helles. He couldn't even save himself. All his efforts, all his sacrifice went to waste. And we see the body parts of both Sour and Helles starting to fall apart. In the very next moment, we see the pieces of both their bodies scattered on the ground. That angel and that god of destruction, whose names used to make the entire universe tremble, were now lying helplessly on the ground, and they didn't even have time left to do anything. Zitoku stands there completely calm, and a destruction attack begins to form in his hand. This time, there was no anger on his face, no taunting, just a stillness, as if he was simply finishing his job. Zitoku says absolutely nothing, and he fires his attack directly at the remaining parts of their bodies. Right then, a massive blast occurs, and its light spreads across the entire sky. When the light fades, we don't see Helles's and Sour's bodies anywhere. Those two, the god of destruction of that universe and her angel, have been completely erased. No name, no trace, absolutely nothing remains of them. Right then, we see that after killing Helles and Sour, there is a different kind of joy on Zitoku's face. It wasn't the joy of victory, but rather the joy of an incomplete revenge moving a little closer to fulfillment. He slowly turns around, as if speaking to an old friend, and says, "By the way, Helles, hear this before you go. My friend's name was Krillin. The name you didn't remember, the one you erased, thinking of it as a mere number. Today you had to pay the price for it with your life. I wish you had thought for even a single moment before taking someone's life about how many people are connected behind that life." Due to Zitoku's attack, a lot of dust is blowing there, and a strange silence blankets the entire atmosphere. Amidst the dust, Zitoku stands perfectly calm, as if erasing two more powerful enemies was no big deal for him. The search for his next prey was now clearly visible in his eyes. Two more names had been crossed off the list, but his journey was still very long, and he says to himself, now only 9 gods and 9 angels are left. One by one, they are all being erased, and my revenge is slowly being completed. And by now, those remaining gods must have well understood that I am no ordinary mortal, but the hunter who has come to find and eliminate them all. They can hide now, they can run, or they can stand together to block my path, but their death is now certain. Looking up at the sky, as if shouting it out for all the remaining gods to hear, he says, "Let's see, gods, what you can actually do. I am waiting for you. Either gather your courage and come at me all together to kill me, maybe then I will get the challenge I've been waiting for. Otherwise, I will hunt every single one of you down, no matter which corner of this universe you hide in. This is my promise, and I never break my promise." Right then, we see that exactly what Zitoku had anticipated happens, that all the gods are visible to him. Slowly, the camera pans down from a hazy sky, and we see an angel looking at Zitoku inside their staff. Inside the glow of that staff, the emerging images clearly show how utter destruction has broken out. And the two individuals watching this spectacle with their own eyes are Belmod and Margarita, meaning the god of destruction of Universe 11 and his angel. Both Belmont and Margarita look deeply troubled. Their faces lack the composure that always resides on the face of a god of destruction this time. Their eyes hold a mixture of pure shock and fear, because what they have just witnessed is not normal at all. They completely fail to understand what they should do to stop all of this. Belmont's hands are trembling, and he repeatedly catches his breath while staring at the staff, as if he cannot believe that what he saw is real. Right then, Belmont speaks in a tone filled with anger and shock. This is madness. Who on earth is this guy? And what is he trying to pull? He looks like a Saiyan. How did a Saiyan kill two gods among us? There is anger in his voice, but a hidden anxiety can also be clearly heard beneath it. He stares blankly at the staff without blinking, as if he wants to rewatch that spectacle over and over again just to convince himself that it is real. And that too consecutively. Not just that, even the angels became his prey. Belmont's fist clenches. Standing behind him, a small, slightly trembling reaction is visible on Margarita's face as well. But she says nothing, merely staring at Belmont as if she has no answers either. After this, Belmont takes a deep breath, turns toward Margarita and asks, "Tell me, Margarita, how can this be possible?" But Margarita has no answer at all. She just stares at Belmont, no words escaping her lips. There is a blank silence in her eyes, as if her mind too cannot digest this reality. After a few moments of silence, Belmont speaks again, his voice becoming a bit louder and more helpless this time. "Tell me, Margarita, what can we do now? Tell me how this is possible. You told me that Jiren is someone who has surpassed a god of destruction, and you said the day would never come when a mortal would surpass an angel. You gave me a guarantee on this. Now your brothers Korn and Sawa are both dead." Hearing this, Margarita's eyes cast downward. She freezes for a moment upon hearing her brother's name, as if something inside her has broken. Margarita is just as troubled as Belmont. Margarita completely fails to understand what answer she should give to Belmont. Her fingers are trembling slightly, and she repeatedly tries to steady her breathing. Then, after a short while, Margarita says in a low but pain-filled voice, "My lord, I too do not understand how he could kill my brother Saur, and that too so easily." There is a deep sorrow in her voice, as if she has not yet emerged from the shock of her brother's death. She pauses for a moment to compose herself, then speaks further. Taking out Korn was a different story, because at that time, his god of destruction was dead and his powers were gone. But Saur utilized his full angelic power, yet he was still destroyed. Saur should not have given up so easily before Zitoku, even if Zitoku utilized Ultra Instinct. Confusion and fear are both reflected simultaneously on Margarita's face. She diverts her gaze from the staff and looks up at Belmont, as if she herself cannot believe her own words. "I cannot comprehend how this happened, but I feel that Zitoku's Ultra Instinct has enhanced even further from being imprisoned for 10 years. Following this, Margarita begins to look even more troubled. Her hands are now trembling a bit faster, and attempting to compose herself, she speaks again. "All I can say is that when Zitoku defeated Beerus, his power was nowhere near this level. But this Zitoku is different from the Zitoku who was imprisoned. I feel that while we had him imprisoned, he mastered his power even further." She pauses for a moment, as if frightened by her own thoughts, then says, "It is still not clear why Zeno-sama has kept him alive until now. I feel there could be only one reason for this, that Zeno-sama merely wanted to trap him. But looking at Zitoku, it seems to me that he has not only mastered the power of destruction, but he has mastered it to a level far beyond his previous rank. And he has completely attained Master Ultra Instinct as well, so this will not be good for anyone." As she says this, Margarita's eyes once again look blankly into the distance, as if drowning in her own fear. She thinks to herself, and then speaks softly. "There is one more thing we should think about. I don't understand how Zitoku is using Whis' staff. Not only is he using it, but Whis' staff is actually listening to his words. This is truly astonishing as well, but only angels can do this." A slight, trembling hesitation now creeps into Margarita's voice, as if she herself is afraid to speak these words. "I do not want to believe this, but it seems Whis really did leave the staff for Zitoku. You could say that Whis left his staff with Zitoku for some reason or another, something that is helping Zitoku." Hearing all of this, Belmont begins to get incredibly angry. Sparks of rage flare up in his eyes, and he suddenly starts pulling at his hair, as if he wants to let his anger out somehow. but doesn't know how. His breathing quickens, and his entire body begins to shake with rage. And Belmod shouts, "I knew that Whis would definitely mess things up. I always felt that, just like Beerus, he would cause massive trouble for us. Now look at what is happening because of that fool. This is absolute madness that a god killer is roaming free. He is not just killing gods of destruction, but angels as well. And the Grand Priest and Zeno-sama are nowhere to be found either." Belmod's fists clench tight, an unknown fear now reflecting alongside the anger in his eyes. "I could never have imagined that something like this would happen. It seems we will have to go through with the plan." Saying this, Belmod takes a deep breath, tries to steady himself, and then looks at Margarita to say something new, which now reflects a shred of hope. "There is one person in our universe who can save us. I didn't think I would have to resort to this, but because of Zitoku, I have no choice now. We must summon that one final individual, which will benefit us after stepping up as a Hakai Shin, because he is the only person who can stop this monster at the right time. We must summon the very one who is more powerful than even his own god of destruction in his universe before it is too late." Belmod finishes speaking, and a new kind of resolve settles on his face, as if he has accepted that there is no path left to retreat. After this, the scene slowly transitions, and we see the individual Belmod was talking about meaning Jiren. Far away, in a quiet and desolate wasteland, we see Jiren peacefully meditating. The air around him is completely still, as if his deep concentration has caused the entire environment to freeze. His eyes are closed, his face completely serene, and a strange silence blankets his surroundings. And he too has been meditating for the past 10 years, meaning ever since the Tournament of Power. This means he possesses mental training as well, just like Zitoku. This long, solitary span of 10 years he has spent without a single distraction, attempting to understand and refine his powers more deeply. And just how powerful Jiren has become after 10 years, nobody knows. Next, we cut to Planet 6. The atmosphere here looks incredibly calm and deserted, like the eerie quiet before a massive storm. But beneath that surface, peace hides a deep, terrifying tension, clearly visible on everyone's faces. We see Champa and Vado staring intently at their divine staff, replaying the exact same scene over and over again, the event that just unfolded right in front of them. It shows Zitoku in a single, effortless strike, completely wiping out both Hells and Sour, slamming them to the ground and finishing them off without any hesitation. Champa and Vados are both left in absolute shock, frozen in silence after witnessing Zitoku's extraordinary and terrifying power repeatedly. Only one question keeps echoing in their minds. How is this even possible? They still can't believe how a regular mortal could so easily and brutally slaughter such powerful entities as a god of destruction and an angel. It completely defies logic, and the more they think about it, the deeper their dread grows. We see cold sweat dripping down Champa's forehead, his hands trembling slightly, his face a mix of pure panic and rage. He mutters under his breath in anger. This situation is spinning completely out of control. "Beerus, you absolute fool. What have you gotten us into?" It's crystal clear now, this guy isn't just some ordinary Saiyan, and he's definitely not just a regular mortal. How could you let such a dangerous mortal survive in your universe? How could you be so incredibly reckless? Why didn't you see this coming? That this mortal would eventually become such a massive, catastrophic threat? You know damn well, Beerus, that a Saiyan is always hunting for a new, bigger fight, and their hunger is never satisfied. That mortal wasn't even fit to be a god of destruction, yet you messed up and taught him the full power of a god of destruction anyway. You have no idea how massive of a mistake you've made. Champa's voice clearly betrays a mix of anger, fear, and profound anxiety. Right then, Vado steps forward, speaking to Champa in a very polite, calm tone. "Lord Champa, forgive me for interrupting, but I believe we have reached a critical point where both of our lives are in direct danger. This Zitoku is just as much of a threat to me as he is to you. Whoever this Zitoku is, there seems to be no rhyme or reason behind his actions, no logic to comprehend, and it is highly unlikely anyone can stop him from his path of revenge. I admit he is incredibly terrifying and powerful, but that does not mean he is completely unbeatable. We must remember that, at the end of the day, he is merely the product of a union between two Saiyans, the merging of two powers. Meanwhile, we have an entire planet full of Saiyans at our disposal, home to countless warriors. I would simply say, Lord Champa, that the scales are heavily tipped in our favor. Hearing this, Champa is left completely stunned for a moment, and it slowly clicks what Vados is actually hinting at. The fear in his eyes gradually fades, replaced by a new spark of hope and confidence. Taking a deep breath, he says, Yeah, you're absolutely right. The Saiyans. How on earth did I forget about them? They are our ultimate weapon, and I haven't even used them yet. As he speaks, a smug grin slowly spreads across Champa's face, because he now has a complete plan ready to go. He looks at Vados and says with excitement, Vados, your idea is absolutely brilliant. You truly are the best of all the angels, no doubt about it. And now, I know exactly what I need to do. Champa immediately turns to his attendants, barking orders in a rush. Go, bring Kaba to me immediately, and get Kale and Caulifla here without any delay. Also, pass the word instantly to the most talented, most powerful Saiyan in Universe 6 that I am coming to meet him personally. After that, I will lock them all inside the time chamber. Their training will progress at a much deeper, much faster rate, and Zitoku won't have a single clue what hit him. You probably know exactly who I am talking about by now. Bring me King Sadala as fast as possible too. I need to speak with him. Vados nods and replies, Understood, Lord Champa. I will arrange it immediately. Do not worry, our time has come. There is no longer any trace of the previous fear in Champa's voice. Instead, it is filled with a newfound hope and grim determination, as if he has finally found the path to turn his defeat into a total victory. Next, we see King Sadala, sitting upon his massive throne. His expression is calm but incredibly serious. A deep line of thought forms across his brow, as if, without a single word being spoken, he can already sense that a massive, catastrophic war is heading his way. The ultimate battle that every single Saiyan secretly dreams of in their heart. Right then, we see that after killing Heles and Sour, Zitoku summons Whis' staff to his side. Whis' divine staff, which for thousands of years moved strictly at Whis' command, suddenly obeys Zitoku so perfectly that it looks as if it were always meant for him, as if the staff itself has already chosen its new master. This sight is so eerie and terrifying that if anyone else were there to witness it, they wouldn't believe their own eyes. Next, we look closely at Zitoku's face. He looks incredibly disappointed. Instead of the joy of victory, a strange emptiness fills his expression as he stares up at the sky, as if searching for answers up there. Zitoku mutters under his breath, I admit, killing all these gods is giving me a rush, seeing these entities become completely helpless against my power. Seeing the pure terror in their eyes, that's where I find real satisfaction. But hunting down all these gods has made me starving. I already used up a massive amount of my energy just wiping out these two, and now my entire body suddenly feels completely drained. Then again, it's no surprise I'm this hungry, considering I haven't eaten a single thing for the last 10 years, not a grain of food, not a drop of water. That bizarre room Grand Zeno locked me away in must have had some strange properties to keep me alive this long. Otherwise, no one could survive for so many years without food or water. That room somehow kept me breathing, but enough is enough. I need to eat something right now, or this hunger is going to drive me insane. Following this, we see Zitoku start wandering around. His steps are somewhat slow and heavy, looking like a starving predator leaving its cave in search of prey. He clutches his stomach with one hand because the hunger pangs are intense, and a hint of pain flashes across his face. Closing his eyes, he tries to sense any trace of energy nearby so he can locate a civilization, find someone's home, and finally satisfy his raging appetite. Zitoku says, there has to be something nearby. Someone must be living on this planet. At this point, even a little bit of water would do. I'm so starved I'll eat absolutely anything. Man, if only Bulma's chefs were around right now. That would be a dream. Just thinking about their food makes my mouth water. I wish there was a way to warp straight to them, but right now, I'll just have to settle for whatever I can find here. As Zitoku wanders around, his attention is suddenly caught by a massive pyramid standing in the distance, gleaming under the sun. Zitoku's eyes light up a bit at the sight of it. Zitoku says, Alright, looks like that goddess must live over there. How strange. This planet is completely different from Beerus's. None of that wide open space. None of that peace. What kind of houses are these anyway? Are they just giant huts? Or do these people just have a bizarre way of living? The whole setup looks weird to me. But hey, if that goddess was anything like Beerus, her place must be loaded with food, since Beerus was always chasing after a good meal. If I head in there, I might find a massive feast, maybe some sweets, fruit, or a heavy meal. Whatever it is, I just need something to fill my stomach. As Zitoku visualizes the food, we see saliva literally dripping from his mouth, visions of a feast flashing through his mind. Without wasting another second thinking, Zitoku marches straight toward the pyramid, his pace quickening like a hungry lion closing in on its kill. He walks right up to the front entrance of the pyramid and glares up at the massive golden gate, from top to bottom. Looking at the gate, Zitoku says, "I knew this gate would be locked. These gods really love wasting my time, never letting me do anything the easy way, always putting up some kind of obstacle. But I don't need anyone's permission anymore." Zitoku pulls his hand back, instantly charging up a glowing, high-powered energy blast. He fires the attack point blank at the entrance, and in a single, explosive blast, the gate in front of him is completely vaporized, as if it never even existed. Zitoku shatters the barrier so effortlessly that he even surprises himself, muttering, "What was even the point of that gate? Looking all big and sturdy, only to get taken out in a single shot. Whatever, I just hope whatever is inside is high quality, at least enough to deal with this hunger." The moment Zitoku obliterates the pyramid gate, we see 4 girls inside who are caught completely off guard by the sudden explosion. Shock instantly turns to sheer terror on their faces. They have no idea who Zitoku is, why he just blew the entrance apart, or why he is boldly trespassing into the pyramid to them. This feels like a living nightmare. The girls panic, crying out, "What was that? That explosion was massive. Who could possibly have the audacity to attack Lady Helis's palace? No one should have the courage to strike Our Lady's home." All 4 of these girls bear a striking resemblance to Heles and are dressed in identical attire, looking like miniature replicas of the goddess herself. Zitoku walks deep into the pyramid with absolute confidence, showing zero fear, his stride so casual you'd think he owned the place. We see the eldest girl among them freeze up in pure terror, her hands trembling uncontrollably. She stammers, Who is this person? Is that a man? It should be impossible for a man to ever step foot inside this pyramid." Zitoku, who has now walked right up to the girls, smirks and says, "I can't believe that goddess kept so many slaves around. How pathetic. I thought these gods preferred being alone, wrapped up in their own worlds without relying on anyone. I guess Beerus was the only exception, handling everything himself out of pure stubbornness. This Helis turned out to be completely different, surrounding herself with an entire entourage of maidservants." The youngest girl suddenly screams, "It really is a man! Girls, we can't let him step another foot inside. Destroy him quickly before Lady Helis finds out about this, otherwise we're all dead." Her voice is thick with panic, clearly showing she fears her lady's wrath far more than this stranger. We see Zitoku power down completely back into his base form, knowing perfectly well that dealing with these girls won't require any real effort. They're nothing more than a minor annoyance to him. Zitoku thinks to himself, "These people are just wasting my time. Is there seriously no one in this entire multiverse who can look at their opponent and realize right away that they stand zero chance? It's the exact same story everywhere I go. First they freeze in fear, then they attack blindly without thinking." Just then, 3 of the older girls rush forward to attack Zitoku, putting on a front of false bravery to mask their terror. They shout, "Girls, move out! We have to protect Our Lady's palace, no matter what!" Seeing them rush in so recklessly infuriates Zitoku, but at the same time, a dark amusement plays on his lips. He thinks to himself, "You girls are absolute fools. Kids, you're lucky I happen to be in a decent mood today, otherwise you would have been wiped from existence by now. Let's see how you plan on stopping me. But remember, if you push me too far, this will be the last mistake you ever make." A sudden, faint smirk plays across Zitoku's face, as if he knows exactly how effortlessly this entire situation is about to be handled. Without wasting any time, he fires 3 rapid energy blasts. The moment they leave his fingertips, the 3 energy beams flash through the air. We see these beams streak toward the 3 girls, wrapping around their necks with pinpoint accuracy, not too tight, not too loose, forming a perfect, glowing ring around each of their throats. The 3 girls can't believe they've been completely defeated in a single move without even getting a chance to react. Shock instantly morphs into pure terror on their faces. All 3 of them are blasted backward, pinned firmly against the wall behind them, as if held by an invisible force. We see the energy rings continuously spinning around their necks like a halo of light, a silent warning that the slightest movement will bring disastrous consequences. Zitoku calms down completely, knowing he has successfully neutralized the nuisance, and that no one else will dare try to stop him now. He casually straightens his shoulders and speaks. Now, you three sit tight, don't move, and don't make a sound. Don't forget that I'm your guest, and like a good guest, I don't want to cause you too much trouble, unless you decide to do something stupid. Now let me get some rest. I have important business to attend to. With that, Zitoku begins walking toward the kitchen pantry. His steps slow but deliberate. We see the fourth girl, who had been standing quietly in the corner this whole time, completely terrified of Zitoku, her hands shaking. Zitoku looks over at the fourth, youngest girl, pausing for a moment to eye her intently before speaking. Tell me, are you going to attack me like your sisters did? You're welcome to try, I won't stop you. But keep one thing in mind, whoever throws the next attack at me won't get off as easy as those three did. Do you understand? The girl stammers in absolute terror. No sir, not at all. I'm not going to attack you. Do whatever you want, take whatever you need. I won't stand in your way. Having witnessed Zitoku's terrifying display of power firsthand, she is completely petrified, her voice trembling violently. She presses her hands together, pleading, Sir, please just don't hurt me. I'll do whatever you ask. Following this, Zitoku walks straight over to the pantry table, pulls back a chair, and sits down to eat. Even though he hasn't eaten a single thing in nearly 10 years, he doesn't wildly gorge himself upon seeing the food. He maintains a strange sense of composure, eating with a regal air. Chewing his food, he remarks, so this is what Goddess Helles ate? It's actually not bad. It's pretty close to Earth's cuisine. The flavor profile is somewhat similar. Or rather, I should say the food that used to be made on Earth. Because who knows what's even left of it now. The moment Zitoku remembers what the gods did to Earth, his expression shifts, a flash of pure rage crossing his eyes for a split second. He snaps his gaze toward the girl and commands in a stern, harsh tone, Girl, you don't want me to kill you or your friends, right? Then get to work immediately and whip up some good food for me. And by that, I mean a massive amount. Do you get it? I'm still starving, and I won't tolerate any delays. The girl is completely stunned by this request. She can't comprehend why someone would break into their home just to demand a meal. Someone with this kind of unimaginable power, desperate over food. It completely defies logic to her. Still, paralyzed by fear, she quickly replies, Yes, of course. Right away, I'll prepare it immediately. You won't have to wait. A short while later, we see the table packed with an endless variety of dishes the girl has prepared for Zitoku. Zitoku is now peacefully eating a bowl of ramen. His face bears an incredibly serene look, bearing a striking resemblance to Goku, that same simple, pure joy, where even the heaviest burdens of the universe fade away in front of a meal. Zitoku says, This food is incredible. You actually cook better than Chi-Chi, and that's saying something, since Chi-Chi's cooking was famous across the entire Earth. Looks like I'll have to keep coming back here to eat. I might just become a regular guest at this place. Just then, something catches the girl's eye. Ignoring Zitoku's compliment entirely, she stares intently at an object, her eyes widening in realization. She notices that Zitoku has an angel staff resting beside him, that exact same glowing, uniquely crafted staff. She had seen that identical staff in the hands of the angel Sour, and the connection triggers a massive revelation in her mind. With a trembling voice full of awe, the girl asks, Is that an angel's staff? So, is that who you really are? Are you a candidate to become an angel? I knew there had to be a reason. You're this powerful, defeating two gods so easily is simply impossible for anyone else. Please forgive us. We had no idea. We made a terrible mistake. Please release my sisters. We want to apologize from the bottom of our hearts. If Lady Helles finds out we disrespected an angel, she will kill us all. We'll be wiped out. Hearing the girl's words, Zitoku is slightly taken aback. He slows down his eating, holding his spoon midair. Zitoku thinks to himself, What? A candidate to become an angel? She must be mistaking me for someone like Maris. Well, there's no harm in playing along. If anything, it'll just terrify them even more, and I won't have to deal with any more annoyances. Let's run with it. Zitoku looks at the girl, adopting a calm, solemn tone. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what it is. I am essentially an angel. You could say, I'm a true saint, wandering this universe solely to deliver justice. As for your sisters, they'll be freed the moment I leave this place. Don't worry about them, though judging by their faces, they don't look like they want to apologize right now. They're just keeping their mouths shut out of fear. Oh, and one more thing, I wouldn't expect Hellis to return anytime soon, so you don't need to stress about her either. The moment Zitoku says this, the girl begins to panic violently. Her hands shake uncontrollably as tears well up in her eyes. She stammers, I just hope Lady Hellis is alright. She never takes this long to return. I'm getting really worried that something terrible happened to her. I don't know if you've heard the rumors, but there's a crazed god killer on the loose. I heard he originated from the demon realm and somehow broke free. He's been hunting down both gods and angels alike, so whether you're a candidate or not, I'd strongly advise you to watch your back and stay safe. That's exactly why we've been training so hard, out of fear that he might target us next, because we heard that no one's power stands a chance against him. Hearing this, Zitoku bursts into laughter, a soft chuckle that makes his face look almost normal for a split second. He remarks, yeah, I guess I've heard a thing or two about that myself. Word has a way of reaching my ears. But since you mentioned he's only hunting down gods and angels, you should probably just relax. I doubt he'll target you guys, seeing how he isn't attacking mortals. Obviously, I'm just basing this on the rumors I've heard. The reality might be different, but from what I've seen and heard so far, that seems to be the case. The girl is taken completely off guard by his words. A new expression washes over her face, as if remembering something she had previously overlooked. She says, what? Mortals? Well, you hit the nail on the head there. We heard the exact same thing, that this demon is strictly after the gods of destruction and their angels, no doubt about it. But Lady Hellis is our mother, so if you think about it, my 3 sisters and I are technically gods too. It's in our blood, and we inherit the exact same divine power our mother possesses. In fact, my sister Lara is next in line to become the god of destruction once our mother steps down from her post to rest. It's a long-standing tradition in our family. The moment Zitoku hears this, he freezes in absolute shock. A sharp gleam flashes through his eyes for a split second, as an old memory suddenly resurfaces. Hearing her words instantly reminds him of his own 4 children, their smiling faces, their laughter, everything flashes through his mind in a single heartbeat. He mutters softly under his breath, what? These 4 kids are gods. So Hellis's children, the children of a god of destruction, have their own divine identity, their own power, just like my kids once did. I used to have my own little world too, flooded by the memories of his own 4 children, whom the gods had brutally and mercilessly slaughtered. A heavy, suffocating sorrow weighs down on his heart. Instantly, Zitoku snaps out of it and stands up, his chair rattling backward. His casual demeanor vanishes completely, replaced by a deadly seriousness. He grabs his angel staff with a vice-like grip. Zitoku remains completely silent through this. Having already decided exactly what he needs to do, only one thought echoes in his mind, locked onto a single, grim image. Without uttering a single word, Zitoku begins walking right past the girl, his stride sharp and rapid. His face remains completely blank, showing zero emotion, nothing but a cold, suffocating silence. The girl asks in surprise, what? You're already done eating? I haven't even served you dessert yet. I thought you'd stay a bit longer. Zitoku finally reaches the front entrance, the very gate he had shattered to break into the pyramid, its broken fragments still littering the floor. The girl suddenly yells out, wait a second, hold on, don't leave just yet. I want to tell you something. We see her sprint over and grab Zitoku's hand. Her grip is gentle but emotional, forcing Zitoku to turn around and look back at her. A smile plays on the girl's face, a smile born not out of fear, but from a strange sense of comfort. She is completely at ease, clearly placing her full trust in Zitoku, as if she has somehow convinced herself that this man isn't as bad as he seems. The girl says, whoever you are, I really enjoyed meeting you and talking to you. We don't get many visitors on our planet. To be honest, you're actually our very first guest. This is the first time I've ever seen anyone other than Lady Hellis and her angel, and the whole experience is completely new to me. I knew you wouldn't stay here long, but I truly hope you enjoyed the food I made, because I honestly had a blast cooking for you. It's been a long time since I poured my heart into a meal for someone. She extends her hand out, offering a warm handshake. her eyes reflecting a genuine fondness. Zitoku responds in kind, taking her hand in a firm, slightly cold grip. He tries to remain calm for a moment, masking the shift in his emotions, but a dark, sinister smile suddenly creeps onto his lips. He says, "Don't worry about a thing, kid. I enjoyed meeting you too. You really are an incredible cook. It's been years since a meal gave me this much satisfaction. I hope we can cross paths again someday, so I can have another bowl of your ramen. Well, it's time for me to head out. The moment I leave, your sisters will be freed, completely unharmed. Do me a small favor and tell your sisters I said sorry. Tell them I apologize for scaring them." With that, Zitoku finally steps out of the pyramid, walking away with his signature regal stride. The girl stands at a distance, watching Zitoku's figure recede until he completely vanishes from sight. Now that he is fully energized and satisfied from his meal, Zitoku commands his staff, "Take me to the next god." "I'm done wasting time here." Instantly, Zitoku teleports, vanishing from the spot in a blinding flash of light, his mind entirely locked back onto his singular, ultimate objective. Back inside, the girl blushes intensely thinking about Zitoku, her cheeks turning a light shade of crimson. She whispers to herself, "Man, he was so handsome. To have that kind of power combined with such elegance. Now I finally understand why Mom always told us to stay away from mortal men, probably so we wouldn't fall under a spell like this." Pausing for a second, she snaps out of it and says, "I better clean up this place quickly before Mom gets back. Otherwise, she's going to be furious seeing this mess." I still don't get why he said it would take Mom a while to return. Though could something be wrong? With a lighter, happier step, the girl walks back toward the pantry. She reaches the table and begins gathering the dishes Zitoku used, stacking the plates one by one. Suddenly, her attention is caught by an energy ball Zitoku had left behind. Hidden right behind the ramen bowl, a small, glowing sphere, pulsing faintly with power. She muses, "What's this? Did he leave a gift for me?" Her voice carries a childlike curiosity, thrilled by the sudden surprise. But the exact moment the realization clicks in her brain, her expression completely twists. The joy drains instantly from her face, replaced by sheer, unadulterated terror, her eyes widening to their absolute limits. Cold sweat breaks out across her skin, her entire body freezing solid as she senses a catastrophic danger. The energy sphere suddenly begins to glow violently, its blinding light flooding the entire room, signaling that something horrific is about to unfold. She stammers, "Wait, this is... No, he couldn't have. This is a..." Her eyes pop with terror, her throat goes completely dry, and her voice cracks into a frantic scream. By the time the girl realizes that the sphere of energy is a sphere of pure destruction, it is already too late. She tries to scream out, "Sisters, run! Get out of here right now!" But the warning cuts short. Mere moments after Zitoku's departure, Helice's pyramid palace is instantly obliterated in a colossal explosion. A piercing light tears through the sky, and within the blink of an eye, the entire palace is reduced to nothing but cosmic dust. In that single instant, all four of Helice's daughters are completely wiped out, granted absolutely zero chance of survival. A short while later, we see Zitoku arrive at the location of his next victim, teleporting directly onto a brand new planet. Zitoku looks around in surprise, his eyes scanning the unfamiliar environment. He mutters, "What's this? This place looks incredibly familiar, like I've definitely seen it somewhere before. Where exactly am I? There's something pulling me toward this place." Suddenly, a highly recognizable voice echoes through the area, startling Zitoku. His gaze immediately snaps in the direction of the voice. The voice demands, "Who are you, and what business do you have invading the realm of the Kais? No one enters this sacred ground uninvited. This is no place for ordinary trespassers." Zitoku is caught completely off guard, a look of profound confusion crossing his face for a moment. He murmurs under his breath, "The realm of the Kais? And that voice? Could it be? I definitely recognize that voice from somewhere. I've heard it before." Right then, the speaker steps into view. We see that it is none other than Gowasu, meaning Zitoku has just arrived in Universe 10. Gowasu glares at Zitoku with deep suspicion and intense confusion, sensing a highly erratic and unfamiliar power radiating from the intruder. Gowasu takes a step forward, demanding, "Your energy." It feels completely bizarre, unlike anything I have ever sensed before. "How did you manage to infiltrate Universe 10? No mortal or angel should be able to breach this realm so suddenly. Speak, who are you? And with that, Zitoku and Gowasu stand perfectly still, locked in a tense, silent standoff, sizing each other up as a suffocating quiet settles over the realm, a clear warning of the massive storm brewing ahead. That wraps up today's original story. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss any future uploads. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you next time.